Hi, I'm Phil. Pleased to meet you.
Phil is a lovely little creation of mine who was originally just a background pufferfish for a drawing of my original character Pearl. And by the way, I realize there is already a carrot-topped, short-haired girl by that name in the show Steven Universe, but as you can tell, my Pearl is a mermaid and was in no way inspired by the other one. But we can talk about her and her story some other time. This is Phil's show. You can tell because of the bow tie. This first drawing is 4 inches by 4 inches. It was more difficult to draw than the original one because it was bigger, like 4 times bigger. The hardest thing was to get his roundness right. You know, the parts in between the spikes around the edges. I messed that up a little bit at the top. He looks a little more puffy or lumpy, I'm not really sure which. I actually practiced drawing him several times before I drew him for this video. I found that I kept making the face too big, or the wings, sorry, not wings, or the fins too small. And at one point, I put the fins all the way in right next to the face, and I was like, yeah, that looks stupid, but I can't figure out why. And then I laughed as I realized, yeah, his fins aren't going to be right next to his face. Oh, right. I forgot. I went back in and made the bow a little more vibrant because it had already dried. I'm not really good with watercolors, so half the time I don't know what I'm doing. The second one is 2 inches by 2 inches. It's about the same size as the original one, so it was a little easier than the first one. I figured out that the best way to make the fins is to start off with triangles and then kind of separate the two sides from each other so that they don't connect. Fun fact. Phil has 8 brothers. Their names are Gil, Dill, Bill, Trill, Still, Nil, Drill, and Steve. For some reason, everyone loves Steve. I can't figure it out. As you can tell, Phil's color isn't quite as vibrant as his original color, because I did that with markers. I did the original one with markers, and this is watercolors, of course, but you knew that already. Why am I so bad at this? And this one is 1 inch by 1 inch. Welcome to Smudgeopolis. It only gets worse from here. Oh, and I apologize, my thumb is totally in the way of this. But I could see him perfectly. His mouth turned out a little weird, but more or less he looks okay. At this point, I started using a much smaller brush. I used 3 different sized brushes. By the way, I wrote the background music. Go check out my music at noteflight.com. Okay, here's the big brush compared to the tiny brush. The tiny brush looks like it only has like 10 bristles. It's kind of crazy. I tried to avoid his eyes and mouth as best as I could, but it's still smudged pretty bad, especially when I went in with the bow tie. Yeah, everything else is kind of, it's been simplified a lot except for the bow tie. The bow tie has mostly stayed the same up until this point. Okay, so these last three, the one on the far right is 1/4 by 1/4, a quarter by a quarter inch. The second one is 1/8 by 1/8 inch, and the last one is, yes, you have that right, it's 1/16 by 1/16 inch. I went for it. But really, the 1/4, I don't know why anyone would even think of drawing that small, but thanks to Casey Golden, here we are. And yeah, you can't even see his face anymore. But I still went ahead and colored that bow. Yeah. And now, I will color 2 Phils in rapid succession. Bam. Bam. Oh, but he's missing something. You can't forget the bow tie. It doesn't even look like a bow tie anymore. And here's the final lineup.
Aren't they cute? Don't call me cute.
Special thanks to my sister Chad for helping edit this video, Kitty Kazoo for suggesting I draw Phil as small as I can, and Casey Golden for creating this ingenious and fun challenge. Thank you for watching this video. I'm Lily Calico, and I might see you again. Maybe. I don't know. Bye!